terrible thing, but it's a great thing because your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow. Is that okay? We'll try getting it done tomorrow. So give them, I don't know them, but give them my regards and wish them a good life.
Mr. President.
Yes. How are you?
I just want to say thank you for bringing my parents back.
Todd and Julie Chrisley, released from prison, now headed home to Nashville, according to their lawyers.
The Chrisleys were convicted back in 2022 of fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy to defraud the United States.
All right, let's pivot to another case. At any moment, Todd and Julie Chrisley, stars of the reality television show Chrisley Knows Best, they're set to be released from prison. In an emotional phone call with the couple, President Trump said he's pardoning them. The Justice Department said the couple submitted false financial statements to get more than $30 million in personal loans to pay for luxury cars, designer clothes, and even more. So they were sentenced in 2022. Todd received 12 years while Julie received 7.
Freaking out over here. Well, I have shed so many tears. The president called me personally as I was walking into Sam's Club and notified me that he was signing pardon paperwork for both of my parents. So both my parents are coming home tonight or tomorrow, and I still don't believe it's real. I'm freaking out.
President Trump just granted full pardons to reality TV royalty Todd and Julie Chrisley. And honey, the reactions are more dramatic than anything we ever saw on Chrisley Knows Best. Picture this. Savannah Chrisley is casually shopping at Sam's Club when her phone rings. And it's literally the President of the United States calling to tell her he's pardoning her parents. Trump told her straight up, "Your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow." Like, sir, you're talking about people serving 12 and 7-year federal sentences, and you're treating it like same-day delivery. The White House even posted the video of this phone call happening in the Oval Office. This girl has been fighting for 2.5 years to get this moment, and it happens while she's wholesale shopping. In 2019, Todd and Julie were indicted on federal charges that read like a white-collar crime thriller. We're talking bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy charges involving over $30 million. The government alleged that Todd and Julie had been submitting fake documents to banks to get massive loans, then using new fraudulent loans to pay off the old ones. Basically, it was like a Ponzi scheme, but with more designer handbags and Southern charm. But here's where it gets really messy. They were also accused of hiding millions from the IRS while simultaneously flaunting their wealth on national television. In 2022, both Todd and Julie were found guilty on multiple counts. Todd got 12 years in federal prison, Julie got 7 years, and they were ordered to pay back nearly $18 million in restitution. This is where Savannah Chrisley comes in. While her parents were facing serious prison time, this girl developed a strategic political campaign that would make seasoned lobbyists jealous. First, Savannah spoke at the Republican National Convention in 2024. And y'all, she did not come to play. She stood on that stage and said prosecutors called her family the Trumps of the South. And instead of being offended, she declared she wore it as a badge of honor.
726-00019 and 726-01019. These may be just numbers to you, but to me, they're my whole heart. These numbers are my parents' identification numbers in our federal prison system. My name is Savannah Chrisley, and you may have seen my family on TV.
Then she campaigned for Trump, visited the White House in February, went on Lara Trump's Fox News show, and basically became a regular in Trump-adjacent media spaces.
I thought it was the Department of Justice, but I've heard you refer to it as the Department of Injustice.
Yes, without a doubt. You don't understand it until it happens to you. And when it happens to you, like I grew up, you live, breathe, die our country. Like I'm from the deep South. That's just how you grow up. But when you see your name, the United States of America versus the Chrisleys, it causes you to take a step back and be like, whoa, is this really what I was taught to believe in?
This girl was playing 4D chess while everyone else was playing checkers. She even took custody of her younger siblings and used that responsibility as part of her advocacy narrative. Trump has been on a pardoning spree since taking office. He already pardoned all the January 6th defendants, a sheriff convicted of bribery, and now the Chrisleys. But here's what makes the pardon so interesting. It fits perfectly into Trump's narrative about the weaponization of the justice system.
I'm just so grateful that I'm going to leave here with my dad. I will forever be grateful that we have an administration that is reuniting families. There are so many here that deserve a second chance.
They were conservative celebrities who claimed they were targeted for their political beliefs. At Savannah's RNC speech, she connected her family's legal troubles to Trump's own legal battles. She essentially said, if they can come for us, they can come for anyone, which is exactly the message Trump wants to amplify. The fact that this happened just days after Trump took office shows this was probably planned for months. Savannah wasn't just hoping for a pardon, she was strategically positioning her family to be obvious candidates for clemency from a Trump administration. Alice Johnson, who Trump pardoned during his first term, was literally in the Oval Office during the phone call to Savannah.
What went into the decisions that you thought that Todd and Julie deserved to be out?
Well, they were overly sentenced. They both received a combined sentence of 19 years for a first-time nonviolent offense. And if you look at their case and how it went down, I'm going to say that, in Georgia, it was truly weaponized. They called them the Trumps of Georgia.
This was a coordinated political moment, not just a spontaneous act of mercy, but the reaction has been intense. Internet is more divided than a high school cafeteria during drama season. The reactions to this pardon are absolutely wild, and they're coming from every direction imaginable. Team Chrisley is obviously celebrating. Their supporters are posting crying emojis, praising God, and talking about how this proves the justice system was weaponized against conservative families. They see this as vindication and proof that the Chrisleys were political prisoners all along. But others are furious. Critics are pointing out that rich, connected people getting pardons while poor people serve life sentences for lesser crimes is exactly what's wrong with the justice system. The optics are not great, let's be honest. Joe Exotic is somewhere fuming that he's still in prison while the Chrisleys are walking free.
This is wrong. Get me the hell out of here because I don't belong.
He literally posted about how being innocent isn't enough, while the Chrisleys got pardoned despite being convicted. The prison hierarchy drama is unmatched. Social media is absolutely chaos right now. You've got people celebrating family reunions, others questioning presidential priorities, and political commentators using this as evidence for whatever narrative they're pushing. But their daughter's political advocacy campaign literally got them out of prison early. That's either an inspiring story about never giving up on family, or a troubling example of how justice works differently for connected people. Compare this to countless non-famous people serving longer sentences for similar or lesser crimes, who don't have daughters speaking at political conventions or appearing on Fox News.
Nashville reality TV stars Todd Chrisley and his daughter Savannah addressed the media for the first time after President Trump pardoned Todd and Julie Chrisley.
I want to thank first and foremost my Lord and Savior, because that's who got me through it. I have met some wonderful men. I have listened to some horrific stories about things that have gone on in our system. And whether you believe it or not, because I was you at some point, even though this pardon has happened, I still was convicted of something that I did not do. It could be you. It could be you. It could be any of you. And somewhere in this room, someone has had a family member that has been affected by it. I will continue to fight for all of the guys that I dealt with and that I was blessed to be with at FPC Pensacola. I will continue to expose the injustices that go on there and throughout the throughout the Bureau of Prisons.
The message is clear. If you can align your case with political narratives and build the right relationships, clemency is possible. The business opportunities are endless. They already have that Lifetime docuseries in production, and now they get to film the reunion and comeback story. There's already speculation about whether Chrisley Knows Best could come back, but honestly, the real money is probably in the redemption tour. But here's the really interesting business angle. For years, their empire was associated with fraud and legal troubles. Now they can pivot to being a story about political persecution, family loyalty, and ultimate vindication. It's like getting the ultimate seal of approval and a clean slate all at once. But not everyone is celebrating this decision. Critics are raising some serious questions about this pardon and what it represents about our justice system. The jury heard all the arguments about prosecutorial bias and still found them guilty on multiple counts. So what changed between the conviction and the pardon? Politics. Some people are calling this pure white privilege in action. The idea that wealthy, connected white people can essentially buy their way out of consequences through political advocacy, while poor people and people of color serve full sentences for lesser crimes. The timing is also raising eyebrows. Trump announced this pardon just days after taking office, which suggests it was planned as part of his early clemency strategy, rather than a careful review of the case merits. Critics are also questioning whether this sends the wrong message about white-collar crime. If you can defraud banks out of millions of dollars but get pardoned because your daughter gives good political speeches, what does that say about accountability for financial crimes? But supporters argue that the justice system was weaponized against the Chrisleys because of their conservative values and high profile, making this pardon a correction of a political prosecution rather than a miscarriage of justice. So, what do you think? Do you think this was justice served or privilege protected? Let me know in the comments.